Hello, everyone. Morning, morning. Oh, pay no attention to all of that. That's last week's. Let's get rid of that. I thought I was going to start the stream without a hitch, but as you can see, I've had dental surgery, or as you can hear, I'll try my best, but I have a slight lisp, and I need to get used to it. For 3 or 4 months, I have to wear this. So, nothing I can do about it. If I have to suffer, you have to suffer. But let me assure you, you're not suffering as much as I am. All right. Some really good responses generated from this week's video about, I was contemplating why women perhaps might find it easier to lie, why it's effortless to them, whereas for guys, particularly with people we really care about, we find it really hard to lie, and we find it really hard to sort of even go to sleep at night. It plays on our brain, it haunts us, but with women it doesn't haunt them. Let me bust out the chat so I can read your comments. As always, guys, if you want to ask me a question, make sure you put a whole bunch of emojis next to your question on the right. I'm sure a lot of people will be trolling and making fun of me, but I don't care. Roman says, follow up from my previous message. I said, will you be paying for dinner for her? Reply, I was never want to hear from you again. Can you rephrase that, Roman? What do you mean about that? Just rephrase your question. Put a whole bunch of emojis before your question, and I'll read it a little later. Oh, okay, he said, took a woman out during the week for a quick dinner for about an hour. As we were leaving, she turned around and said, next time we might be able to go on a real date to a restaurant. Nah, F her. If she didn't have a good time, doesn't matter where you took her. It depends on the attitude. Like, I'm reading this as a snide comment, but also, if you guys didn't talk about who you are, if you're a simple person, and right off the bat, she's saying she wants to go to a real restaurant or a fancy restaurant. I mean, I'm taking it secondhand from what you're saying, but she sounds like she's very materialistic. Doesn't sound good to me. As you guys decide whether or not you want to ask me any questions, I'll read some of the notable ones. Actually, before I read them, I was pondering, is it okay to lie to your partner? And as always, I'm not saying it in terms of, you meet some female stranger that you know nothing about, or she's a wretched girlfriend or something. Like, yeah, who cares how she feels if she's making you feel bad or if you're not compatible? I'm saying I'm always focusing what it means to you in your life and the quality of your life. If you go around treating people badly because they treat you, I would ask, why are you associating with bad people? It's all about the hygiene of your life. Whether it's your work relationship, your platonic relationships, or your romantic ones. So I was thinking about the question, is it okay to lie to your partner? And what does it mean for you? So for your own sake, is it okay to lie to your partner? And what that question means is, how enjoyable is your life keeping the act up? This is the thing. You can act, you can game, you can be a PUA, you can do all this fancy stuff and brag to people and say, oh, look how I game this person. It's almost talking like a business person saying, I swindled this person. I got them to pay more money than this piece of crap is worth. Ha ha, how great am I? I made a lot of money and someone else suffered. Or I acted like an abominable person, but look at what I gained from it. Whereby you kind of put your morals and your character on the shelf. And it's amazing to me how many people pat everyone on the back and say, yeah, you acted like a wretch. You acted like an asshole. And I wouldn't want to be associated with you, but you didn't do it to me. Oh, good on you, pal. It's amazing to me how much the business world comes into personal relationships these days. Not only with friends, but also in romantic relationships. But I notice it amongst guys. Guys act like a-holes in their day-to-day life, and others pat themselves on the back like we should be getting joy in acting like bad people towards one another. For me, it makes me think, well, yeah, okay, have a laugh, dude, but I'm not going to trust you. You've actually shown me what kind of character you have. I'm not going to trust you in my life. You're not going to be a friend that I can, confide in or turn to when something's at stake. See, I can't even speak. It's annoying. Anyway, I said, your private or intimate relationship is the place where you should not be fake. If you're curating yourself for Pumpkin or anyone else because you don't want to lose a hot girl, or she has a temper or doesn't like this or that, then gentlemen, you are performing. You're performing in your life. You're putting on an act. The question is, are you performing as a partner? Not the dude, bro, are you performing in the bedroom? It's, are you performing? Are you putting on an act? Do you put on a mask? Are you performing as a partner? Or is she happy to be around the real you that doesn't need to act? This is the question. Does she love the slick mask you wear that gets the chicks? Or do you think the real you is boring or not good enough? These are confronting and serious questions to ask yourself so that you stop living in your own fake world. Again, what does putting on this slick act of being an alpha male do? How enjoyable is your world? Is from the morning you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're always at a job to be this alpha dude. Continuing, blah blah blah, so that you stop living in your own fake world. She's not creating your world; you are. Remember that, gentlemen. When are you going to let go of the perfect woman's expectations of you and start being yourself so that compatible people can finally see you? The right people can't see you if you're wearing a mask. Is it any wonder that all the women, misspelling, you try to get with are terrible when all you show is a mask? Can you blame the bimbos for falling for the mask that you can't keep on for long, by the way? Seriously, can you? Can you blame women for wanting to be with the mask that you're putting on? And when people say to me, well, you'll never get a girl being this way or that way, human, it's like, good, that's the point. Do you want to be happy? Or do you want to go to work all the time in your relationships and hate the job? Insist on a maskless projection of yourself. Don't overcompensate and turn up the volume where you look cartoonish like these dating coaches tell you to do. No, rather simply be the person you are around. Simply be the person you are around your friends and family, because you don't really want the 99% of hot messes out there that you have to live with. They break your heart and waste your time and leave a bitter taste in your mouth, and they calcify you going forward. They make you one of these kind of bros that sort of just avoid life in general, not just women. You kind of you barricade yourself in a world that's only safe, and you don't try anything, and you start living in a safe black and white world. Anyway, you just want that particular kind of person that fits your personality, a compatible person. And that won't happen if we're all wearing perfect masks trying to impress each other. The final point, the mask always has to come off when you're trying to get close to someone. Looked at another way, your mask is a wall preventing the other person seeing you, a compatible person, that is. So that's what I wanted to say on the subject. If any of you guys have any comments relating to the last video, because it did spur some pretty interesting comments in the comment section. So please let me know on the right hand side. Put a whole bunch of emojis next to your questions. Again, nothing I can do about my voice. It's like talking with a mouth guard in. I had surgery 2 days ago. 3 of my front teeth are all gone, and I've got a temporary plate that I have to wear for the next 4 months. So my smile will more or less look like this, but it's very, very uncomfortable to speak. For someone who likes a good conversation, this isn't very nice. Some regulars here. Hey Donna, hey David, Feral. Both the Ferals. Roman. Boffin, how are you, man? Wildcard says women are an act. Yeah, most of them are. And as I said in my video, just kind of take yourself out of the dating market, right? Observe them as like someone at the zoo observing an animal. What kind of life do you have to live? Putting up with, like, you know, women have got all these expectations that they put on themselves, and they pump up and they love making each other feel bad. Their world is terrible. I am glad I'm a man, so I don't have to deal with growing up with women and the cattishness and the schoolyard and all that, right? What women have to go through is like terrible. But again, they exacerbate it and they fuel it. So I have no sympathy for them continuing the story. So I think women live up to a lot of these expectations due to other women, not necessarily guys. They like to blame guys so they can all kind of feel safe around each other, blaming men, not each other. But secretly, they'd probably be able to trust saying something to their male friend or a male person in their life rather than someone close in their female world, just because of female nature. But yeah, women are an act. Most of them are. They live, their survival is based on acting and saying things they don't mean. I think as TFM said, women use words like magic just to elicit a prescribed response later on, whereas guys actually use words that actually mean what they say. And when we say or actually hear words, this is a thing, because women don't actually care about the words they're using. They don't really have meaning because they're allowed to change their mind. And even if they said something, it's like, yeah, I don't care if I said that. I'm saying this now. What's wrong with you? Can't you hear what I'm saying now? Who cares about yesterday? I don't. Women actually don't care about yesterday. The words they said, the people they were around, the promises they made, they don't care. Everything is a continual now going forward. So in that sense, they live in the moment. You better believe it. But on the same token, you can't trust much of what they say. The average woman, you can't trust much of anything she says for tomorrow. Because tomorrow, she's going to be in the moment again. She's like a goldfish who, you know, forgets the last 5 minutes. Where are all the good men? Why can't I find a good man? Because of the way you treated all the men yesterday. What do you mean yesterday? What's yesterday? Hey, martial arts oriental medicine, how are you? Feral Android asks, from your video this week, women do not love you just as you are. What is the point then of pursuing a relationship with them if you do not want children? I'm saying the average woman, that's what she's like. My whole point, like with anything in life, is 99% of the average out there is the average. It's like water. Like, you know, when you go socially, hello, how's your day? The kind of 99% of conversation. But what you really want to invite into your life, any kind of personal relationship, the time you spend at home with the doors locked, your hobbies, you know, wearing your tracksuit, just relaxing, the real you with the mask off, that's worth you being very, very particular about what you choose. So whatever kind of relationship you want to be intimate, even if it's friendship, even if it's like a hobby, all these guys, the life coaches, the male life coaches, like, yeah, make money, bro. It's none of them really ask, who are you? What do you like doing? It's like, no, just make money. Make this, do something general. So most women, the average women, 90-something% of women are not for you. They're not for me. They just aren't. When you get very specific about who you are and you know who you are, you've got only a very narrow way that anyone who fits with you can be in your life to understand you, and you can understand them, where you can actually feel comfortable. You invite them into your home. You can trust them. You can, they don't push you. They don't try to manipulate you. They don't try to take all the time. They actually give as well. So what I'm saying is, yes, most women are the same, but you don't want to date women in plural. What you want, or those of you who want relationships, I'm not saying you have to, is you want a specific thing, like you have a specific style of car, or you have a sport you're into, or you like a particular type of video game, or you've got a particular type of genre in movies. Really know what genre and part of your life that you're into. Like, just really be righteous and upfront about it. Like, this is me. Everything else is just junk food. You can take it or leave it, but it's not anything I'm going to be serious about in my life. It's not going to be a foundation. And a lot of guys date women generally, but then they're a general guy as well. Like, I talk to some of these alpha dude bros who make money and date bimbos. Yeah, good for you. They're the average. They're cookie cutter. That Kim Kardashian stripper look that every bimbo goes for, that's really easy to get. That's really easy to cut. Like, virtually any woman from whatever body shape, hair color, whatever, they can actually get that look really easily. It doesn't take a lot of work. It's a general looking woman. And there's general looking guys that go for those. Have you ever noticed now, guys and girls are starting to look the same, even superficially? When you try and talk to them as well, these guys, their dictionary is like 5 pages thick. They're very basic. They're as shallow as the women they're dating. And somehow we're supposed to believe, women believe that these guys are the prize, and guys believe that these bimbos are the prize, because what we do is we say our standards are so low that all women are the same. At the lowest common denominator, they all are. But really, would you be able to tolerate more than 10 minutes spending time with that bimbo? Oh, dude, yeah, but in the bedroom, that's all I need. All I need is half an hour with her. That's enough for me. Yeah, so that's all you're going to do in life. Recycle female strangers, female bimbos. You're going to spend every week trying to look good, look flashy. You just keep dating, keep spinning all these plates. You are so preoccupied with spinning plates all week and looking good and being an alpha dude, bro, that you can't just relax and hang out with your guys, watch movies, go for a walk, do nothing all week if you feel like it. I don't know. It's your life. Do what you want. I mean, again, I took a look. I've been continually taking good hard looks in the mirror over the decades. And slowly you have to be honest. Like, if you want something, what's the most logical way to go for it? What's the path? Like, if I want this life, like there's life A, and everyone's telling me to live all these different lives, like B, C, D, E, F, right? It's like, yeah, but they take me off the course. My life is over here. I know I really find this life attractive and relaxed and comfortable and really joyful. Oh, but over here's a holiday, human. Yeah, but okay, I can take a temporary holiday. I can have fun with bimbos here and there. But like, this is where I want to live, over here. No, but here's a nice roller coaster. Yeah, cool, but roller coaster lasts 5 minutes. Yeah, but don't you want to continually ride roller coasters? No, no, I don't. Am I in focus? Okay, now I am. Anyway. Spec Ops says my lisp is about 3% noticeable. Quit fixating on it. Don't worry, I'll it's only when I really stumble. What I've noticed is with learning to talk with this now is at the start of the day, especially in the morning when I wake up, when I'm sort of getting the sort of talking muscles going, it's really noticeable then. But once I start talking, it's fine, or it's not as noticeable. How dare you says, could we consider lying to your partner as the civilized human version of animals displaying traits of good genes? As long as you're honest about it. Like, I think if we display and we present, that's fine. But if someone, and this is why I ask guys to be honest when they're on dates, not hide things. If they notice like a warning sign, to actually ask a question and say, I just wanted to ask, do you mean A or B? As long as you clarify, if you don't hide, you don't ignore, as long as a person's not intentionally lying. Of course, omitting things or displaying your best side, turning your volume up slightly to impress at the start because you really like the person, it's normal and natural. I'm saying not to intentionally present yourself as something you're not, or trying to impress just in that moment, and restraining who you are, the person you want to be, the comfortable person. That's what I'm saying. Anel says, do you think loyalty and faithfulness in a relationship are mutually exclusive? Do you think loyalty and faithfulness in a relationship are mutually exclusive? Loyalty and faithfulness, I would have thought they're synonymous or quite similar. You mean faithfulness as in never cheating on your partner? If you're upfront with your partner that like, yeah, I'm not going to say I'm not going to cheat on you, or, good luck if both of you agree on an open relationship. But I think I go back to that saying that we do not really lie to others that much. We lie to ourselves first when we tell a lie. And it's being able to live with the lie. If you can live with it, then good luck to you. But there's a lot of these guys that are lying in the dude bro part of the manosphere, where they're really shouting a lot and they're beating their chest and they're trying to be alpha. And to me, it says they're lying because they're being really loud and forceful about it. If you're genuine, you notice people who are confident and calm, they don't have to boast. They don't have to kind of be the alpha in the group. This person is really quietly confident. This guy's got it like an inner strength, right? That's the kind of person that doesn't have to show off. They don't have to have an ego. They don't have to step on people's necks. They don't have to, their version of success isn't causing other people to fail. Hey, Karu, how are you, man? Yeah, Spec Ops says smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that they hate themselves. And this is the thing in the video I was saying, women, this is one thing I wish women would do, admit how awful other women are. And then maybe you'll start to come to terms with all the stuff you don't like about yourself as a woman. Because like media and all the girl power keeps trying to fake the self-esteem for women while avoiding the cause. It's kind of trying to put a band-aid on like on cancer. You can't just will your way and ignore what the problem really is. When you really face what it is, then you can actually get better. So if women are ashamed of something, but they say, well, if I just don't look at it and pretend, like I'll ramp the volume up on like my self-esteem, even though I really don't feel it. Maybe if this is, and this is popular with women, fake it till you make it. Women keep faking it, hoping that they'll one day make it, but they're faking their way against the scars that they have that they don't want to address. So yeah, I agree. Smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that they hate themselves. You look at all the makeup smoke and mirrors. They're never satisfied with their external appearance. They hide who they are. They don't think they're good enough. I mean, we guys philosophically have been talking for generations through Stoicism to really look at things very realistically and try and be as best as you can be as a man. Really face your deficiencies. I mean, the heart of Stoicism is compartmentalizing life into two things. The things in life you can change and those things in life you can't. And then taking action accordingly and ignoring what you can't change. Other people's opinions you can't change. What you can do about yourself you can change. Even if you want to get the approval of others, what do they require? And what can you live with to get the approval of others? So in terms of like self-esteem or how you present yourself, the pride with which you take pride in how you look or how you speak or how you're fair with people. You might think, well, I don't care what other people think. But also you need to be fair. You can't expect other people to treat you really well, but you don't care about how you treat them. How dare you says, human bro, what you talking about? I always love when people start sentences with bro. Only romantic medieval fairy tales about men and women loving each other says it is not okay to lie. Only that does. So what are you saying? You should lie to women? I know women want you to lie to them so they're happy and they believe fantasies. I'm just saying you shouldn't. Not for their sake, for your own. Because what kind of person are you going to be living with or not having a relationship with, trying to have some simulacra of a awful relationship with if you have to keep putting on that act? And this is what I see at barbecues with guys, like in private, like you're sitting around with drinks and, the guys are together and the girls are off in the distance. And what the guys complain about with their girls when they're talking about women, they love their wives or partners, but they're so frustrated. They'll say, oh yeah, Jenny, she's like, don't even talk about it. And it's kind of like they don't hate her. They're just tired and they're drained by her. So it's kind of like they're really tired of wearing the mask around, their pumpkin. Anel says, human, what are your thoughts on Jordan Peterson? I like him. What are your thoughts on his daughter, Michaela? Don't really know enough about her. What's your thoughts on Joe Rogan? Like him too, from what I've seen of him. I don't really watch Joe Rogan as much now that he's on Spotify. I might actually check him out in the future. It's just that I sort of I watch and do the things that I normally do, and then kind of just do. There's so many things online and places, like you got YouTube, you got Netflix, you got Stan, you got this, there's all these different avenues, and everyone's saying, why don't you go here, human? Why don't you go here? Have you looked at this? Have you seen this? It's like, dude, how many hours in a day? Like I'm saying, dude, now. How many hours in the day and in the week do you think I have in terms of producing and having my life and enjoying and doing the things I like doing without adding to it? That's why I don't know how these guys who have a rich and fulfilling life can spin 10 plates in the week. So they're dating 10 women, they're doing pickup, and they've got this other life where they're running a business, and you see them always on Discord. Having chats, and I'm thinking either you're lying or you have more hours in the day than everyone else does, and I'm guessing it's the former. Datawiz says, great to be with you from holiday in Thailand. Hey, man. Yeah, I went to Bangkok a couple of years ago, and I didn't expect to like it that much. It was on a stopover on the way back to Australia. It was just staying in a hotel for like 2 nights just to relax, because I was trekking in Nepal, and it was a nice kind of way to refresh before you come back to Australia. But I really like that city. I'd like to go back for another stopover someday. I'm not a fan of the whole reason most guys go there. Like, I don't care about that much. But the food, the fruit, and the food there is amazing. And yeah, I think it's a really nice, refreshing place to be. But I don't think I could sort of be there for long. But it's much better than I thought it would be. 2 thumbs up for me. Where are we? Where are we? Whoa, okay, stream jumped. Sorry if I've missed some of the comments. I was about to read one. Where are we? Where are we? Oh no, hasn't jumped. Just the guy says, being completely honest all the time is rather perverse and it's not civilized. Sometimes it's better tell a white lie to avoid drama and keep things running smoothly. Look, there's a difference. There's a way to be completely honest without being very deep or direct. If someone asks for my opinion, I will give them my opinion. If part of being a socially adept is, if you don't know someone especially, is to kind of keep it very kind of keep the language neutral. Don't go too deep. Don't assume they have your sense of humor. Like, if I don't know the person, I don't know how far I can go with a joke. I don't know their life. They could have a child that's got learning disabilities or is retarded or something. And I don't want to make a joke or say something inappropriate. So I want to have tact and be polite to people, because I'd like people to be polite and civil to me until we get to know each other's sense of humor. So I still contend that I would rather be as open and honest as possible, but civilized. Be civilized and be socially adept and aware. I'm not saying you should just vomit everything so you kind of make people recoil. It's far better to sort of be genuine than to hide. Life in general and our jobs require us to put on so many masks, and very thick ones at that, that I'd say that that's where the heart of most people's misery lies, is having to wear masks everywhere, and they're thicker and thicker and heavier and heavier. We have to wear them longer and longer, and we hardly get any respite to sort of go home and take them off and kick off our shoes. And if you have to go home and you never kick them off, you never take on a mask, you have to put on the yes dear mask at home to keep Pumpkin happy, because you just feel like, well, I don't want to be alone. She's as good as any. At least she's not as bad as my ex or some of the horror stories. That's also a very low bar to think you can love someone with. At least she's not a wretch. At least I can tolerate her. Ooh, I love her. Let's have kids. Oof. Here's a question. Do you tolerate yourself when you're alone? No. Do you tolerate your friends? Really? You might one or two, but you're really close friends that you can spend an entire weekend away with or something. But even friends, but if you're going to be with someone 24/7, come on, man. Really? That's why so many guys, they don't like being alone, and then they find any woman they can tolerate, and then they're desperate to be alone again. Be alone, or be very particular about someone who's compatible with you. And most of us will be alone most of the time, or probably forever. And it's not, just look for compatibility. Don't look for these high bars of she's got to be like perfect, because we're not perfect either. We're all imperfect, right? I'm not perfect. Roman says, you and I are around the same age. I'm quite comfortable if I never have another woman for whatever time I have left on this earth. That's fine, man. If you're completely comfortable, more power to you. Yeah, Feral Male says, 10 minutes of sticky friction once a week. Sounds like a lot of effort for very little return. Yep, David says, rather than consider what's between your legs, pay attention to what's between your ears. Intelligence matters. What's between a woman's legs? Every single woman, like the amount of women that don't is like 0.000000. They're all the same there. But you think you're finding something special. It's like looking for water and saying, oh, I got a glass of water. Look how lucky I am. No, the personality, the compatibility of character between you, your virtues, your ethics, and your morals, that's the thing you should be very kind of have high standards about. But it's really weird how we're all kind of today especially, the ethical and moral standards of someone is like completely zero. We've convinced them, because we've become so lazy in our own standards, we've convinced ourselves that all men are the same and all women are the same. Or what's even funnier is that guys will say, no, we're all these individuals and women need to understand us, and women are, guys are brilliant and we're diverse and we need to be seen as individuals and appreciated, but all women are the same, all right? If you're smart and you know how particular you are, why would you want the lowest common denominator? Just go get a doll. Seriously. Like if you're that like dude bro dumb and that's how low your standard is, just go get a doll. Or if you do want to go with the bimbos, have fun, man. Like I've done it. But to think that you can actually have relationships with them, to think that you won't have headaches? Like it's embarrassing if you say, no, I'm going to have a life with bimbos and this is how I posture as an alpha dude bro, and you guys are idiots. Stop complaining. Have fun. Enjoy the ride. This is what I don't get. All these guys that make comments on channels like mine that don't want long-term relationships like that, most of us can agree that's fun. Going on a roller coaster every now and then is fun. But you guys are complaining about the roller coaster you want to go on all the time. You guys don't care about what kind of business suits you as a person, only that you make money and that you have a hot bimbo in the passenger seat. Again, if you don't care about the substance of your life and who you are, I don't know what to tell you. I actually don't know why you're on my channel. I really don't. How dare you ask human, are you going Barbarossa or Stardust like path? Neither. I'm going my own way, which is what it always used to be, remember? You're going your way. I like both of those guys, both Barbarossa and Stardust. And they're going their own way too. Look, how dare you ask, what's your response to Sargon? Okay. I don't care about all these other people's controversies and beefs and debates. I don't care about that sort of stuff. I don't care, really. What did this person think? Oh, did you hear what they said? I don't care. To me, it's kind of like, like when a woman says, oh, I got to tell you what Nancy said to Veronica in the office. It's like, I don't care. Talk to your girlfriends. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't give a crap. I don't watch Sargon. Con Chang, thank you for the super chat donation. I appreciate it, man. You are the best. For some reason, talking with this plate Makes my lips dry. I don't know why. Coffee doesn't help either. I know. Feral Android says, question on my last comment. Do you think there is a 1% woman who will love you for you, or are you just talking about a good companion, temporary or not? I think you can get a decent companion temporary. Like, I'd say most of my serious relationships, the majority of those girls, they were nice girls. They were decent for the most part until the incompatibility and like the incompatibility of like their virtues, their nature, their character really rubbed up against us, and we started to irritate each other. But none of them, I would say, are bad people. And this is why I say compatibility is so key. Most times in relationships, I had decent relationships at the start because we wanted to make it work. You like the other person superficially until you got to know them, and then you sort of saw really incompatible areas. It was a matter of I was with another person that wasn't compatible for me. So short term, I've had a few friends with benefits who were nice girls, but there's no way I would consider ever having like a serious relationship because our values and our lifestyles and just a lot of stuff just was mismatched. So short term, yeah, you can have fun short, just the same as I'm sure you got people you can catch up with as friends, but for an hour here and there, a couple of hours. But seriously, consider. Oh man, seriously consider how many of your best friends you could actually live with. That's what I mean about very particular compatibility. So it's very hard with a female because innately men and women are very different. So your temperament, your character, your virtues, and how you're raised is very, very important. That 1% that you should only consider as a companion, like as a long-term romantic partner, is paramount. And really be aware and honest with that. And then really acknowledge that you'll probably, the chances are you probably never will find it, given what women are like. Back in our grandparents' day, there were a lot of just decent people who might have been incompatible to one degree or another, but they could be with each other because of the social norms. Even if they weren't perfect for you, because you had to abide by certain religious or social codes and men and women had to sort of stay in certain lanes, decent, nice, yet incompatible people could still manage to raise kids and treat each other respectfully. But now all that's gone. All you've got left is being very, very particular about your compatibility, about your ethics and moral philosophy. They have to be on the same page. Otherwise, you're going to tear each other apart over the smallest things, like where you left the toothbrush and where the cup is and who didn't do the dishes, because you're not cut from the same cloth. Opposites do not attract. They might. Opposites do not stay together, put it that way. Hey Joe 212 says, lying to your partner seems like a big waste of energy. It also will keep adding distance between you and your partner. Exactly. You get with someone and you're both faking it to stay with each other because it's like being on an exciting new holiday. It's great. You want to stay here longer. But the longer you wear the mask and the longer you can't be yourself and relax, you drift away from each other. And you're going to break up eventually. Rip off that band-aid initially. Talk about everything. Be everything. I'm not saying right from the start give you your PIN number and legally make yourself vulnerable. I'm saying in all the non-legal and structural ways, keep a distance until you can actually trust the person over time. But in terms of your personality, your temperament, your lifestyle, what you do want, what you don't want, if you kind of sense she wants kids, but you really don't want to, but you just want to kind of see how long you can keep it going until like the crap really hits the fan, The crap could really hit the fan when she becomes pregnant, because she really wants kids. And you thought, oh damn, I didn't bail earlier. I should have bailed earlier. I just wanted to get one more in. I want to sleep with her a few more times. You know, I've never had a girl this hot. She's exciting. Yeah, so is a holiday. Know where a holiday is and know where home is. Anel says, human, I remember someone on Richard Cooper's Unplugged Alpha show said, being too open is unattractive to women. They want a bit of mystery. I reckon that's BS. Be completely open with who you are. If she doesn't like it, go find an alpha dude bro who will lie to you and who'll be happy with it. All these guys acting for women, it's like, well, she doesn't like it when you're like, who cares? I don't care. Where else do you say that with important parts of your life? Like this person doesn't like me. Like, who cares? Really, who cares? I don't get it. I really don't. I can't. Again, maybe it's my control side. I feel like someone has control over something I really, really value is the comfort and tranquility of my peaceful life. If I have to give that away because they require me to give them the control of me putting on a mask and, well, if you don't act this way, human, she won't like it. She might leave. She might find someone who will put on that act. It's like, okay, fine. I can understand it when you're young, in your 20s, right? Doing things that women like, right? Like there's certain inconsequential things. Women like flowers, women like chocolates, women like romance. Fine, it doesn't take anything away from my life. I can do these little things and make her feel happy and put a smile on her face in feminine ways that I really don't care about. But I will do them because she loves them for reasons I can't fathom. But what I do know is that I love making her feel good when I do these things. And they don't really take much away from me. Why wouldn't you do that? In the same way, why wouldn't she do things for you? If you like being cooked for or whatever. Her taking care of the house or her putting her arm around you or something. I don't know. Whatever it is you appreciate. Why wouldn't the other person love doing the little things that really are no skin off your back? If you do, what does it take away? Like, no, I don't want to do anything. She's got to do everything for me. I'm going to be in my frame and I'm not going to give anything. And she's got to pour into my frame. She's got to give everything. And that's the only way I can keep her from leaving. Can't you, look, this is the thing with me. I sleep peacefully at night if I can leave the cage door open every night from the moment I meet her. She says I can trust her and everything. I leave the door open. But these guys are like, no, you got to cage the door, otherwise she'll leave. If you don't say and do these things, she's going to leave when you turn your back. You can't trust her. Great. All the walls are down. You can leave at any time, sweetheart. I'll be happy with you, and you'll be happy in your life if you're honest with me and with yourself. If you're lying with yourself, I don't care. I can't do anything if a woman's lying with herself. To herself, sorry. Datawiz says, human, call me altruistic, but honesty and integrity are foundational to my relationships. Having to lie to maintain the relationship is a non-starter for me. Yes. 100% guarantee, Datawiz. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. 100%. Be your honesty and integrity in and of yourself, where you have pride in, you have not, this is the other thing, you have nothing, you have very little that'll keep you up in the future if you've always maintained integrity, been honest. If there's moments where you want to let out positive or negative emotions, you allow yourself in front of anyone who cares about you, and you know anyone who cares about you should accept you when you're down, and also, I mean, everyone does accept you when you're up, like when you're happy, when you offer them good conversation, you offer them gifts, and you offer them your help and things like that. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves it when a friend offers another friend help. But if you never get it back when you're in need, she can't offer it, or she finds it icky. Like when you need her, she doesn't like it. This is another thing that's a warning sign. Women who say, I don't like needy men. Those women usually, they don't mean what you think it means. A lot of guys think, well, they don't like a wimpy guy. This is what I used to think in the past as well. No, they don't want to give anything, because they don't like needy men in the way that they don't want you to ask anything of them because they don't want to give anything. This is their relationship. When women say, I don't like needy men, she's saying, I want you to follow me and give me everything. I don't want to give you anything. I'm not giving you 1 cent in this relationship. 1% of effort. Everything's a one-way street to me. M. Singh says, in your opinion, can women and men just be friends? Nothing more, nothing less. Yes. One of my best friends, she's female, and I've been best friends with her for, I'd say, 30 years now. And initially when I met her, yeah, you're young, and I found her attractive, but I didn't know how. And but very quickly, the attraction was that I got along with her really well as a friend, like a sister. And I very quickly noticed that her lifestyle, what she wanted in life and things like that, were very, very different. So very quickly I noticed it wasn't romantic or sexual. It was in a very sister kind of platonic way. But she was a great person to confide in and talk to. And she's not an unattractive person either. But very quickly I understood that she was someone that I was very friendly with, protective over, like my sister. And I remember very quickly I started thinking about being intimate with her, and it was like, no, that seems a bit weird. And then I started to see why. But I would say that's very rare though. Most guys can't be friends, just because most guys just get with women and they like women on the base attractiveness of the physical. And they don't really connect with many women personality-wise. It's a very hard trifecta to physically attractive, very, very easy. Mentally attractive, mentally attracted, which is what I have with my, probably she's my only long-term female friend. Mentally attractive, I'm attractive to her. Very good personality, very intelligent, can talk a long time with her on very deep philosophical topics. Want the same things out of life. And I'm not really physically attracted to her, but want the same things out of life. So it's only one out of the three. But to have all three, you're physically attracted, mentally attracted, and you want the same things out of life, you've got the same virtues, values, and things like that, that is very, very hard to find. And in today's times, it's even more hard to find. Like I said, our grandparents and generations before us had it easier because at least decent people could have gotten together, raised a family, and social norms and respect between men and women was like a lot better. Men and women don't like each other, and women, especially today, they almost detest guys. So you can't even get off the starting block. You can't even be friends with women today. Back in the day, like if it was today, I'd probably say I wouldn't be even friends with my long-term female friend today, given the environment. The chances are very, very high. Guys, if you don't put emojis before your question, I don't know if they're questions. And put some brightly colored emojis that stand out in front of a black background like yellow or white, because I'm reading everything on a black screen. Nertruda6 says, always better to discuss the ideas and not the people. Exactly. I'm not a big fan of discussing all the beefs between people. I don't have a problem with any of the content creators. Even the I have nothing wrong with the personalities, more or less, between all the different Manosphere content creators. Even it's really kind of the content they produce isn't for me. And some of them are obviously like car salesmen, just wanting to kind of put their their hands in men's pockets and make money and stuff like that. Good luck to them. A lot of them, this is a business. But yeah, I don't mind any of them. Some of the guys, even the ones that have content that really aren't for me, some of them have personalities that I could see myself having a conversation with. But I don't really know what we talk about. But in terms of their personalities, they look like decent guys. Just the guy says, it's not that you don't care about substance, it's just that compatibility alone is not enough in a romantic relationship, and it never comes first. Otherwise, it's a platonic relationship. Yeah, you need all three things. You need to be physically attracted, like, but the wanting the same things out of life, that plays into being able to be with each other comfortably for the long term, and especially it's helpful if you want to raise a family too. Delta Dan, thank you for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. His avatar is a turbo, so I'm tipping you're into cars, Delta Dan. Hey brother, I just want to be able to get. I just want you to be able to get your teeth fixed. Mine are FUBAR from Iraq, but I want you to be well. I appreciate what you do. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, basically this whole process, in 4 months, I should get my final teeth. The whole process is going to cost me as much as it costs any of you guys, however you convert it to whatever dollars in whatever country you're in. The price of a very small brand new car, like a Hyundai or a Toyota or a Kia. So a very mid to basic level brand new car, small one. Pick a very small car of a Kia or a Daewoo, or I don't think Daewoo make cars anymore. Hyundai or Toyota or something like that. That's how much this is going to cost me. But I have to, because there was an infection in my bone across the first 3 teeth, and it was going to spread in the years to come. And because it's at the front, I need to get implants, which are the most expensive thing you can get because they're so strong, and I need them to bite and eat. It might have been a different story if they were at the back. I wouldn't have to spend as much, but it's not really for vanity's sake, but I have to. Fiona asks, Human, what kind of questions do you like to ask when initially meeting someone to get them to reveal themselves honestly? I just kind of just talk and see where the conversation leads you. But generally, I'll talk about anything to do with like relationships and who they are and what happened to them in the past, what they learned. I'm really interested in what they learned, who they are now, who they've become. Just like that rounded kind of person, because I talk that way. I reveal that stuff quite naturally. I'm an open book. And so I like to kind of see them have the courage to kind of just be themselves and feel free to just talk about everything. I really want to see the real person, because that's what it is when you go on a date. I don't want to see some curated perfect girl trying to impress me. Don't impress me, because I'm not out there trying to impress you. Yeah, you go on a date not, wearing your thongs and your shorts and, a wife beater. But you go on a date like where, I don't go there being not me. So I've always gone on dates maybe wearing a t-shirt and jeans and something like very kind of casual, but still looking respectable. But I go there not trying to represent a fake version of me. And it's the same with what I say. I go there trying to meet a potential friend. I go there looking forward to meeting someone who might be a friend. Like, so the conversation is generally like that. So I don't go there gaming what direction I'm going to talk with her. I just go there just looking to hang out with someone. So it's not scripted at all. And it's also why I encourage guys to just learn to speak and think better and to communicate. So you don't go there preparing yourself with like a going there like on a job interview, like, you know, they're going to ask me these questions, how can I respond? And no, just be the best version of that you can possibly be to sort of to voice another worn out cliche. But yeah, very, very personal questions. They're not, I don't prepare them, but I'll ask personal questions because that's what I'm interested in. That's why we're there. Let me get inside. And it's not just, you know, that. I wonder if the algorithm is smart enough to pick up that. Ted1775 says, "Human, are you saying that we have to be willing to fail?" Yes, in some ways. Not really fail. You have to be willing to learn lessons and sharpen yourself and become better. And you're not going to do that without kind of being willing to learn new lessons. If you kind of really fashion yourself to be a perfect, safe person, you're never going to kind of rise and become a better person, because you're going to stay in the safest, lowest common denominator. You're going to hold yourself back a lot from where you could be happy in life. And again, it's got nothing to do with women. The more you don't take risks in the direction where you know you should go. Like I've said it a few times, the big lesson I've learned in the last year or two is do the things you're avoiding. Do the things you don't want to do, but you know you want to. Because every time you do them, life gets better. You leave a lot of the baggage behind. We are all dragging heavier and heavier anchors behind us. The safer we act and the more we avoid doing what we know we should do. My teeth are a prime example. I was scared crapless because of how big this surgery is going to be and how uncomfortable this is going to be over this next 3 months. All the intrusion into my life and the uncomfortableness. But then I know after that how much happier I'm going to be. I'm already like the level of relief now that this has been done and the infection's been sort of taken care of and everything's going towards a sort of going the way it should go, is I'm looking forward to my future more and more. And this is the thing, guys. Do you want to sort of stay comfortable in a black and white safety that will deteriorate? Or do you want your tomorrows to get happier and happier? Again, nothing to do with relationships with women. Do you want your futures to, because we're all heading for the grave. Do you want the sun to keep coming up? You know, I think it was Winston Churchill who said, we all either rust or we all either wear out. Choose to rust. Choose to wear out. Choose not to rust, gentlemen. Don't rust away. Wear yourself out. Wear away. Make the effort. Face the uncomfortable stuff. I said it in the past. I made a video about it. There was a moment where I kind of counterintuitively, because we can all be very intelligent, and I pride myself on being a bit too clever sometimes for my own good, where you think you're being really smart to outsmart life and figure out these things, but counterintuitively, I noticed that I made myself a lot happier, not just when I let go of stuff that didn't work for me, but in terms of fear. A really good thing for me to remember was, whatever I'm afraid of that I know is nothing to be afraid of, but I just can't help it, and you actually identify, well, you think, well, that's just something I'm afraid of, and that's just me, you know, and I'm just comfortable with being afraid of that, and I'm just going to use any kind of bias to excuse that. Once I actually made a little aphorism to kind of say, nah, human, always turn and face your fears, because as soon as you face them, the fears disappear. That is one trick I learned. Whatever you're afraid of, and you don't want to look back, you know, that's the horror movie, you know, don't look back. It's, you know, just keep running. Don't look back. Run forward. Don't look back. It's like, no. Turn around, and as soon as you turn around, whatever you're afraid of just disappears. It does. I swear. Whatever you turn around and face, it disappears. It only has power when you've got your back to it. It's counterintuitive, because your intelligent brain is always like, yeah, but if I run forward and ignore it and just leave it in my past, because, you know, we don't want to live in the past, and what I fear is behind me, running after me. It's logical. I should just go forward. It's like, no, just stop, turn around, and it's not there anymore. It's gone. Again, my teeth are a prime example. Turn around, fear disappears. It's not there. Screen eye. I think lying is a consequence of compensating your own unsolved issues in an unreflective way. Yes. Carrying these into a relationship is the worst side effect one could want. Yes. Because you think you're gaming someone by lying to them, you are poisoning your own relationship. You're not going to have the freeing, trusting relationship because you're already lying. You're allowing lying into your relationship from your side. So you kind of know that it's based upon lies, at least from your side, and you can never quite know if it's coming from her side too, because you're both playing the game. Or you can sort of be a dating guru and thinking, nah, she doesn't know I'm lying, but I'm making her honest. Which is why I've never understood the guy saying, you know, you got to train your woman. You know, she's not right for you, she lies, but you can actually mold her into the right person for you. No, I'm not going to waste my life trying to do all the work her parents should have done before she got to me. If she's not compatible for you, leave her for everyone else. Maybe she'll find, like, there's plenty of damaged men out there for those women. Like, they deserve each other. Well, they might be happy together. Probably will be. A lot happier than you will be with them. Martial Arts Oriental Medicine says, human, wish I had friends to talk about these things and share. No men friends, these spaces feel kind of sometimes. I wish you can reply to my email. If I write, would you answer? Yeah, write me an email. Or if you've got a microphone, any of you guys, log into my Discord server, and there's always a few of us talking. In fact, after these streams, usually we all jump on there and there's a few of us actually talking. So you can have a conversation with like-minded guys. So if you have a microphone, learn how to use push to talk. If you're not sure, just jump on YouTube and just it's literally, it'll only take you like 1 or 2 minutes to learn how to push to talk, and you can talk in a server on Discord with a bunch of us. We always catch up after these streams. So any of you guys who have a microphone, jump on, be respectful, let other people talk, don't talk all over each other. But usually we get about 10 to 15 guys, and we have a good couple of hours there talking. So feel free to jump on Mayome, Martial Arts Oriental Medicine. But yeah, if you want to write me an email, do that too. I don't have a lot of time to answer emails. I try, because I'm just trying to do life at the same time. So I try and answer as many emails as I can, but I don't spend a lot of time on emails. I spend more time in the real kind of face-to-face communicative stuff, like my YouTube channel, talking to you, talking to you guys, doing streams, jumping on Discord when I can, things like that. Like, as much as I can interact more kind of in meat space or more as a human being, But the more steps back from a human being it is, the less time I kind of have. I enjoy interacting with more of my faculties than less. Neomas, thank you for the super chat donation. Delta Dan, human, I wanted so bad to keep my ex for my son. I know you heard this before. It's a no-win situation. Yeah, it is. It's a no-win situation when you've picked the wrong woman. Look, I acknowledge that a lot of me avoiding some of the traps you guys might have fallen into, a lot of it's luck. Some of it helped with my stubbornness. You know, I feel for you. Ted1775, have you ever read No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover? No. I might actually have it on the shelf somewhere. I think it was a book someone recommended to me many years ago, but I haven't read it. But I've heard of it, and I might actually have it. Show says, men age, so do women. There is a slight difference. Yep. Donna says, who's your dentist and what private school fees are you paying for their kids? Yeah, I know. Implants cost a lot. I think one implant, but I have to get two because it's got to bridge 3 teeth. One implant is like around, I think, $2,000 to $3,000. So I've got to get two, and then I've got to get the actual implants put in by a dentist. So it's going to cost me about $8,000 to $10,000. But then it'll last me the rest of my life, and I won't have to worry about that. But it is a lot, Donna. Yeah, I know. And yeah, it is paying for their private school kids, I'm pretty sure. But he's one of the best I've heard. He's got a good reputation. Men are people says, women aren't interested in relationships. They're not interested in relating with men. I agree. They're not interested in men, so how are they interested in relationships? When, again, it's not what a woman says, it's how she acts and conducts herself. When she says, I want a relationship, it's like I want a man to treat me a certain way and make me feel special. They're not interested in relating to men because they don't care about what men feel or what they think or what they say. Case in point, when a woman talks, she doesn't want you to help or fix or do anything. She just wants you to sit there as an audience and listen to her. It's all about her. I don't want you to talk. Shut up. I want to talk. You're the audience. I'm on stage. This is my show. It's not yours. So most women don't want it. The point of relationships is to relate. It's that back and forth tennis match, and most women don't care about that. G-Girl says, to all young men and older ones too, like Human has said many times, you must like her like a best friend. Your values should be the same as much as possible. Yep. State what you like. Be who you are. Yep. But she won't like me. Good. The wrong person didn't like you. That is a victory. You know what you get? You get your life. You still get to retain your life, and nothing's taken away from it. Remember, it's like some guys are thinking, like, how bad is your life that you're just treading water until a woman comes by in a boat and saves you? That's the attitude most guys have. Whereas my attitude is like, I'm on my own boat, and the woman I decide to kind of pull on board, is like, I better make sure I'm letting on board the right kind of person. No one's coming aboard my boat that's not compatible with me, that I can't trust. And that only happens over a period of time, using my brain, dating them for a while. If I was my best friend dating somebody, what advice would I be giving them because I'm looking out for them? That's what you should be doing with yourself. Affenbach says, stating clearly what you don't want is crucial, in my view. Yes. Tell women what you don't want. I know on a first date, saying negatives like, I don't want this, I don't like this, that's not going to get you in bed. That's not going to get you laid. Stating negatives. It's all about being positive on a first date. But you can talk about what you don't want with a smile on your face and in a lighthearted way. Do not avoid describing who you are, and definitely what you don't want in a person anymore. Be genuine about it. You don't have to tell her, I don't want you to do this. You can just say in a very casual way, look, I've learned that this doesn't work for me. I really don't want to have relationships like A, B, and C anymore. There's ways to actually convey your negatives, what you don't want, in a very civil and nice way. You don't just have to kind of have your sword out and poking it at her, saying like, don't do this, don't do that. Just the Guy says, have you asked your dentist if there was an alternative, cheaper procedure? Yeah. Basically having this for the rest of my life, like a denture, a plate that you have to be very careful how you eat. And it's like, this is terrible, especially for your front teeth. I wouldn't want to have this for the rest of my life. This is a very basic version of what I would have to deal with for the rest of my life. And because it's on the front, no. If it was on the back somewhere, different story. But given the nature of this, no. So yeah, there's a cheaper method that would cost probably a third of the price. But the long-term consequences, it's just much harder to live with. Again, small amount of pain for long-term benefits. Let's equate this to cheaper to keeper. Or, tolerating a lot for the short term because you want to be cheap. Hold out until you can get what's really right for you. I don't know. It's a bad metaphor, but I just know that I will be much, much happier with this. Even if I have to pay it off for longer. I don't have an expensive life, so be it. Nicholas says, have you ever looked into tax offsets for your medical expenses? Investing in your health is wise. No, I haven't, but I probably should. Ray says, you'll be very pleased with the implants. I had 2 molars done years ago, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Yes, I've heard everyone who's had implants, basically it's the best decision they ever made, whereas everyone who's had sort of like plates put in and all these other cheaper solutions, they're hard to live with. They're not comfortable. They don't feel like your own teeth. Whereas implants, they're basically in a lot of ways stronger than your own teeth. You basically get titanium rods drilled into your skull in a laser-like fashion that perfectly shaped to your mouth, and they're basically, and especially for like crucial bits that like this, your smile, and they're going to be kind of ripping and biting into food. I know I'm going to actually be thankful. I would have been regretful very quickly if I would have gotten a slightly more polished version of this as a permanent solution, I would have said, oh man, I just wasted. I should have just waited or saved up and spent 3 times more and gotten the implants. So, what can you live with, gentlemen? Everything in life is a relationship, as I keep saying. What's the relationship I would have had with this if I would have been cheap with what I know to be the right thing to do? Yeah, it's expensive, but it's actually a quality in your life that you use all the time. If you're using something all the time and you really care about the quality of your life, don't skimp. We throw our money away on trash. Again, with guys who date many bimbos through the week, how much money are you throwing away? How much money are you wasting with an incompatible person? It is cheaper just to get an escort than to live a life with a wife who's incompatible. Like, you spend so much more money. David P says, lean into the hard, face the fear. Yep. Turn around and just face it. It's not even a hard thing to do. It's not, don't kind of go, no, I got to do this. I got to face this fear. Just calmly go, let me turn around and look at this imposter. You turn around and the fear's not there anymore. You turn around, you face it, and it's gone. As soon as you face fear, the fear's not there. It disappears, or it's less than you thought it was going to be. The pain of removing my 3 front teeth I was almost embarrassed how laughably easy it was. Yeah, it wasn't nice seeing him after he numbed me up with 5 injections to kind of numb the whole front of my mouth so I wouldn't feel anything. It wasn't nice seeing him come towards my mouth with a pair of pliers and twist to get the other teeth removed. But aside from that, it took 20-30 minutes and I was out of there. T-Dog says, hey human, have you read any of Robert Greene's books? I may have. The name sounds familiar. It might be another one. I've got a lot of books on my shelves that people recommend. I look them up, I read the synopsis and the recommendations, and it looks like something I might be interested in. So it might actually, the name sounds familiar. I might have actually, Robert Greene. Is he the one that wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People? Is that the same guy? I'm not sure. How dare you ask? So, human, do you have any recommendations for young folks to avoid the infection you suffered? No, I played a lot of sport and basketball when I was younger, so I had a lot of like trauma, like got bashed in the face and like even though it's supposed to be a non-contact sport, there's a lot of contact, a lot of elbows and things like that. So I got a lot of blunt force trauma to the head. Yeah, don't play sport, maybe. I don't know, especially boxing. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Ted1775 says. Ray says, if you lie to your significant other and then admit it was a lie, isn't that better than finding out your other half wasn't forthcoming on a personal issue she should have explained? Yeah. if you don't express the standards you think are important, you're a hypocrite if you expect the other person to abide by them. Like, I can sleep well at night reflecting on my past because I was as honest as I could be. And I tried at the end to clarify things and tried to get it to work and tried to express and tried to work things out. So I have no regret. But if you're hiding, you can regret. And then you can't really complain when you do the same thing. If you lie, you can't really complain about women lying. And you can't use the female tactic of, well, if they're honest first, then I'll be honest. Women do this all the time with, well, I don't cook, clean, or do anything, but for the right guy, I would. It's like, no, you wouldn't. Unless you can actually start to show it all the time. Do it with a guy. Don't save it for later because you promised to. You know, I'll cook for you later, I'll clean for you later, I'll do all these things, I promise, but you have to put a ring on it, marry me and all this. I promise I'll be that person. And then once you do all this stuff, it's like, nah, you knew what you married. It's like, yeah, you can't lie to yourself. You know what you married. That's what she showed you. What were you marrying? Don't marry what you hope she'll be. Or even if you want to be with someone where you trust she is this person. I made an old video that I think is still really important to think about. Men act and women pretend to, or women promise to. That's the right. The video is called Men Act and Women Promise To. So men always have to do something first, like take her on a date, promise this, be authentic, show who you are, impress her, don't lie. Basically, over time, convince her that you are the guy, you are the honest guy that she sees in front of you, so she can trust you enough to sleep with you, kiss you, take things further. But women will hold everything back. And like, oh yeah, but when we get married, that's when I'll cook for you. It's like, well, nah, sorry. Like if you're always playing this game but expecting men to be genuine, sorry. But both should be playing an honest tennis match. Sasha says, human, I've been in a relationship where I wasn't heard, where he had to be the center of attention. My life was all about him. So it isn't just women who do this. Yeah, I never said it was, but I talk from a male's point of view because men never talk about this. Women talk about this all the time. They're like 99% of the content out there is like for women about all these similar things that happen to them. And everyone cares about it. Men and women listen to them. Men listen to women's problems because we care about women and we want to know what they do and don't like so we can learn to please them or make sure we're not making them upset or whatever. So I never said like a lot of these things don't happen to women too, but there's just so much out there. Whenever women say, well, it doesn't just happen to men, it's like, can a man just express it from a man's point of view? So I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women, but it's like, from my point of view, I don't care that much because there's so much information out there for women that can I at least say it from a man's point of view without actually having to say that and add that, look, I know it happens to women too, but blah, 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 blah. And I know women have this happen to them too, but blah, 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 blah. Just so, your precious feelings aren't hurt. For anyone with like common sense, like I'm not saying that it only happens to men. I'm describing it from a male's point of view because men don't talk about it because they want to be macho and they don't want to complain. Women don't like hearing men complain and women like it being all about them. Case in point, I say something that this is what men go through. This is what men experience. This is what I've experienced. And a woman hears, well, what about me too? It's not just about you. I never once said it doesn't happen to you too, but I'm saying, can I speak for once? And can you shut up and listen to me? I'm not saying you in particular, Shasha, but I'm saying because I'm talking for myself or for guys, I'm not by necessity being against women or denying that it happens to women. There are some degrees where it does happen to women less, or men experience something more than women, or women act in a certain way much more than guys do. There's those differences. But where we experience loss or pain or frustration, it's similar. But the ways in which we feel it tends to be different. So I don't avoid talking about the women's point of view because it's not, women don't experience it. It's because everyone's so focused and cares about women all the time. It's like most of the content out there is about accommodating and listening to a woman's point of view. That my videos would be 2 or 3 times as long as they need to be if I had to accommodate women all the time. There's enough out there. Look how much I had to word salad that to kind of just let you know that, like, yeah, can I talk about a guy only? Christian says, protect order and order will protect you. A quote from St. Augustine. Yep. Remember, if you want to ask a question, guys, put a whole bunch of brightly colored emojis before your question. Delta Dan, thank you for the super chat donation. He says, my cousin went to Costa Rica to get dental work done, far cheaper than most Western dentistry, maybe a vacation too, just a thought. For general dentistry, maybe, but given like the way the world's been in confinement, let's put it that way, and especially how strict Australia is, recently I haven't had a choice, and this was very, very urgent. This was an infection that was giving me problems and was going to get bad quick. Normally, yeah, I agree. A lot of people go to Thailand, but this was a very specialized thing to do, and I don't want some person that I don't really know anything about other than to save a few bucks. And I would have, with the cost of this kind of procedure, it would have maybe been a saving of maybe 30% of the costs or something. But yeah, this particular procedure, no. But generally, other type of dental procedures, yeah, I agree. Go have a holiday, go get your dentistry done somewhere else if it's general, and you'll still save money and have a good holiday. Although I don't know how great your holiday will be doing the dental work. Do it just before you leave. The plane trip home won't be fun though. Ted1775 says, human is modest about having an expensive life. I don't think. I have a very simple life. I got my house, my car, and I just kind of sit around and watch movies and see family and friends. I don't have expensive hobbies. If you call my car an expensive hobby, maybe, but it's not an expensive supercar. And everything else is just your basic internet and computers and a couple of cameras. But also, don't forget, I don't have family or kids or alimony, child support, things like that. So I have a simple life and I only work part-time. I don't need a lot. But also my lifestyle doesn't need a lot to maintain it too. So, and I'm fairly sensible with money too. So I always, I'm saving for a rainy day for things like this, rather than paying for private health cover and crossing my fingers that when I run into something, the unknowable like this, crossing my fingers that my private dental health cover will cover it because it's very specialized. Or, yeah, you'll get 20 or 30% of it paid back, but you've got to pay still this much for it. So it's like, why did I spend tens of thousands of dollars over the last decade for nothing? Yeah, Mr. Smith says 100% UAC, she promises. Watch the video, it's an old one. It's a pretty short one too, but it basically summarizes what men feel. Men keep acting and being genuine, and women keep promising, yeah, you'll get this later, you'll get this later. And they give you a few crumbs, like going to bed with them, kissing them. They give you the entry point, but they don't give you the actual genuine person they promise that, you'll get what she promises to give. She doesn't. If anything, she keeps it from you. All this talking is not comfortable. I hope you guys appreciate all this talking. Oh. Ricky says, a motto I have is people lie, machines don't. I invest in a personal camera, and it's funny to watch how people self-correct when they figure out there is an ever honest witness to the convo. Yeah. You take a photo with a camera and they go, I don't like that photo. It's like, well, it was you. Get used to your imperfections. Wait, let me pose for the camera. That's the real me. Donna says, Corey Cheng, we'll try and find it. Yeah, I think Donna jumped on Discord, but there were a couple of guys that were a bit spurgy. I can't control what kind of guys go in there. The good thing about this chat is that I'm talking and I can choose to not read some of the dumb comments. So I've no control what kind of people on there. If I'm on there, I'll do my best to tell people to shut up if they're being idiots. But there are some guys as well who live in their own little bubble, and as soon as a female gets in there, it's like, oh my God, female. It's just the way I think and speak, and I can't help but kind of change my personality around her. But yeah, I think Donna dropped in a while ago, but yeah, I'm sorry you felt uncomfortable, Donna, but now there's a few more older guys there, and hopefully less spurgs. I think when I first started my Discord, I just had a few people on there, a couple of younger guys who were just into dating and were kind of worried about women and insecure about dating and heartbroken. Come on. And just the guy says, a life without kids is not without its compensations. Like affording new teeth, for example. If I was married, I may well, if I was married to the wrong person especially, I may well have to go with the cheaper, more comfortable option for the rest of my life, because I'm probably thinking, can't afford it, and life's already uncomfortable. What's a little bit more pain? There were a few good comments in under the last couple of videos. First of all, how long have we been going for? Just over an hour and a half. Okay. Jake V said under the last video about maybe this is why women lie, because it's in their nature. He said the dynamic is perfectly displayed in the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. Nicholson displays a curmudgeonly author and Hunt displays a single mother waitress at a restaurant he frequents. Neither character likes the other very much, but through a series of mishaps and because they are both so desperate, they wind up in a clumsy romance. The movie alternates between scenes of Nicholson acting like himself, which repulses the waitress and causes him to reject her, then redeeming himself by self-deprecating and stroking her ego with compliments that she does not normally receive. He finally wins her over by telling her, "I might be the only person on earth who knows that you are one of the greatest women on earth. You make me want to be a better man." And of course, that melts her little heart and makes her overlook all of his flaws. That was a good reiteration of that observation. I remember watching that movie and I disliked that. Her character, that's where, I pretty much renamed her Helen See You Next Tuesday, not Helen Hunt, because her character was wretched. And everything this guy, Jack Nicholson, had to do, and okay, the brilliance of it was they made his character really awful. He was an awful kind of person. You'd barely be able to be a friend. You wouldn't even have a friend like this. This was an awful friend, but the message it gave you romantically was a really, really bitter one. I didn't like it at all. Gregory said, 2 words to describe every woman I've met: shallow and fickle. BTL Film Media says, living with a liar is so bad for your health. Get out, run, and don't look back. Yes. Sean M says, an ex-girlfriend once said to me, "I love you so much." An ex-girlfriend once said to me, "I love how much you love me." Then she cheated. I love how much you love me. BT says, one of your best videos, human. Thanks. Thanks for blah, 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 blah. I would also add the lack of their ability to love themselves makes them unable to love the world. Their offspring included. Yeah. A woman's inability to love herself and see herself properly and embrace everything. She keeps talking about it, but she never really does it. She never believes it. Makes her unable to actually love her offspring a lot of the time too. And this also leads to feeling even more empty and void inside. Success, money, and status will not fill that void, but only loving themselves through a man. And as my favorite poet Gibran said, hell is an empty heart. Yeah. Gibran, is that Gillian Gibran? I can't remember the author's name. Mr. Frobo says, one important observation to add is women's drive to protect her image, virtue, and self-preservation to ensure she's not ostracized from the group. She is a primal, this is a primal safety response, and as such, she doesn't see it as lying, but as a matter of self-protection. I believe this is the true subliminal reason for lying for most women. That is a really good observation. Thanks, Mr. Frobo. Palace of Wisdom says, actually, I think men know that women are lying, but men lie to themselves as well. Red PILL, knowledge, mostly consists of acknowledging the obvious, not deep diving for some hidden truth. Men have a primal itch to sacrifice for women, but also are rational. Women's lies often are an easy way to reconcile this internal conflict and sacrifice for them to scratch the itch. That's actually an interesting observation. After all, it's downright noble to promise her, to prioritize her because she cares for you. So it's a way to justify what you know might be or probably is a lie. Yeah. Enigma X11 says, the oaths of woman I inscribe on water by Sophocles. Yeah, I was going to mention that in the video, but I found no nice place to put it. Well, it looks like female nature was quite very well known amongst the intellects of centuries past. That has got to tell you something right there. Yep. GM says, there does seem a similarity between how women lie to protect themselves and women's style of lying. It's one of women's few defense and survival mechanisms, so they have to be good at it. Yeah, women are very good at it. Boredom says, this resonates with me. My ex in the end found someone else that did it better. idolized her, made her love herself. So the contract was broken. Retired says, they live for external validation. Wise men's words tell them to control themselves. Learn what is not in your control. Ladies are the opposite, and no wonder they are unhappy. They're living 180 degrees against reality. Yeah, but the female species doesn't need to be responsible for reality when they can always lean on men through lying. Dirk says, what do you want? What do women want? Something else. August Lyons says, women don't love men, they love themselves through a man's eyes. That's what I said in the video. It's hard for men to understand just how visceral a need women have for attention and validation, because those things are nice but not required for our happiness. Women never outgrow that little girl, as in, hey daddy, look at me, daddy, look, that phase. They spend their entire lives trying to recapture that attention from men. They can only love themselves externally, whereas we can take pride in ourselves internally through competence and accomplishment. Yes. Women don't rarely put their hands on the world through a hobby or that kind of discipline and pride through that to become good at something and then admired for that. Hard work to be admired for an accomplishment. That's not something that's natural or attractive for a woman. For all the benefits women get in society, don't envy them, for they live in a constant turmoil underneath the surface. And I think I responded to something to the effect of, unfortunately, with today's parents both working and never there, and the low quality of both parents, men are also raised to run after what they never got from mummy as a grown man. It's very sad now. So it's not just that women are running to please daddies. The men are also running to please mummies today. Andy C says, a woman loves you for what you do for her, not how she makes you feel. I see male love as in the words you are, and female love is the words you do. Like men have to be made in order to have value, and women just have to be there. Does that make sense to you guys? Yep. Love for a man is you are, and love for a woman is you do. Very astute. Nice comment, Andy. Bernard says, exactly. All you are in a relationship with a female is an addition, an accessory, a toy, or even a pet. You are there for them as an article in their lives. My mother said something to me today that was really interesting. We went to visit Dad at the cemetery, and we were talking about relationships and how people don't actually love each other the right way. My mother says that she can't understand women, especially who don't love things that their husbands or partners do. Like their husband might really love their car or something, and they hate their car. And as a result, they really detest their husband, or the fact that their husband likes the car or likes the sport or something. Whereas my mum said, she loved everything my father liked because she loved him. And my mother laughed. She says there was a saying in my mother's it was like a kind of a saying in my mother's language. It's like, if you love your husband, you love his dog. And I laughed, because it made sense. You love his dog because you love him. You don't have to love the dog per se, but you love his dog and you learn to love and appreciate it. So it's the kind of instinct to kind of embrace whatever the person you pretend to love or should love loves. Raven says, human, I've pondered on this subject for a long while myself, only to find myself hitting a bare patch of uncertainty. The uncertainty of why women are largely viewed as the gentler and empathic gender, yet take the lead in filing for divorces and antidepressants used. Too often I hear how my male friends, how they were exaggeratedly demonized by their exes following a separation, as if they were suddenly the Antichrist themselves. Your perspective rings true and offers insight into how women's self-loathing translates through their worldview of men as little more than tools to crank them up out of their own pool of neuroticism. It's a way of like giving women fake self-esteem because they don't want to face and develop real self-esteem or real pride. It's a way of like saving them from looking at themselves. Men failing to meet this expectation translates to the woman as an effort to lower them back into the pool of insecurities. Very well put, Ravenwatch. Go look for his comment under the recent video of under my recent video. Maybe this is why women are okay with lying. That was a really good comment. Joe W says, at the very core of it, women never have and never will know who they are inside. Now that men are walking away, it's even worse for women. 50 years ago, at least these women had a family to go home to when their friendships got nasty. Now they don't even have that. Strong and independent women has a price, and men have known this since time began. That's very telling. And on one hand, I don't have much sympathy for women who crank out being girl power until their 40s and 50s, until they're invisible, and now they want, be a human being, and let's all get along, and now I want to be serious. It's like you're only sorry because you have to be sorry. This is the same to me when a guy's cheating on his wife or cheating on his partner, and then he says he's sorry. All women will acknowledge, no, you're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught. All these women who believe the girl power lie, they're not sorry later. They're sorry they got caught by nature. The party's over and you're invisible. I'm sorry, I don't have any sympathy for your dating life anymore, because now you're not sorry you got caught by time because you thought you could sort of save it for the Hail Mary three-pointer from the end of the court to win the game. Like that, life doesn't work that way. I wish you well, but I can't pretend to love you because I can't. I can't pretend to sort of say, oh, yeah, maybe you can have a baby at 55. Yeah, let's do in vitro. Oh, maybe I want to marry you. Look, oh, maybe, yeah, I don't care. I've always said I can't care more about your life than you do. I can't. That's why I have to care about my life and the choices I make. Does anyone want ASMR? So I avoid copyright strikes, I won't actually show the label. Other than to say it was the favorite drink of the Third Reich. B Greg 088 says, women don't have self-actualization. They love through a man. Her line of thought is that this man loves me, hence I am awesome, and therefore can feel awesome about... Yeah, a woman's line of thought is, this man loves me, hence I am awesome, and therefore I can feel awesome about myself. And also her line of thought is, I'm alone, no one loves me, and I am incapable of loving myself due to their self-hatred. Yeah, mentally it's not a pleasant place to be, where most women are. White Witch. This is a female who commented under my video. She said, as a 72-year-old woman looking at it from the 10,000-foot view on the mountaintop of life, I must say you are 100% correct in everything you say here. I told my son many years ago that it has been my observation that men love deeper than women. I suppose it's the many bumps and bruises of my life that gave me more insight, but you articulated it all so much better than I ever could have. I have women friends who need to hear this, but I will not send it to them. This is the thing. Women don't want to hear this stuff. I'm not saying that you need to share it with women, but women don't actually tell these tell other women the reality of life because they don't want to get into arguments because women are very catty and they won't be your friend anymore. So women lose friendships if they're honest with each other, whereas men's friendships, they get more solidified when we're honest with each other. Blah, blah, blah. But I will not send it to them. It's too sacred of a message and they will only get defensive. It'll just annoy me because they don't want to see themselves or ourselves for what we are. I've broached the subject in the past to no avail. Sadly, it's the only way it'll ever get fixed. I agree. Look at it with an objective mind. Thank you. Thanks, White Witch. A 72-year-old woman is being very honest that she can't even talk to other women about the reality of them needing to look in the mirror, be honest, work on themselves, instead of blaming the world and make up excuses that it's all men's fault. She can't even do it because no one listens, and she'll probably, get women breaking friendships. And so women are their own worst enemies. And because now they listen to the public saying, oh, be on your own, ladies. You don't need men. You don't need anyone. We're a social species, but don't worry about that. You can just be on your own. Good luck. The pharmaceutical industry is making a killing, a absolute killing from antidepressants and antipsychotics from females. Ugh. More motorbikes going past my neighborhood. Sleepy John said, too right. After Hillary lost the bid, my wife went full bore girl power. A mutual friend of ours commented, wow, she always said she hated women. Now she hates men too. What's left for her? Scratching the surface of sisterhood is powerful. I always say the instability in their relationships with... I always saw the instability in their relationships with each other. Boys just naturally formed hierarchies in my experience. Once established, we went on making friends, and some of them fast friends for life. Women fail to bond unless rallying against men. Amongst themselves, they don't seem to stick up for each other only, but instead feuded and made up over and over again. Christopher N says, women will lie in a self-righteous way, and they believe their lies. My daughter said she isn't a messy person, and my son said, you mean you haven't been messy since yesterday? I laughed. That's how women are. They are whatever they feel they are that day. Maura M says, seriously, in discussing old school days with fellow classmates, every single woman has nothing but memories of trauma, emotional and psychological abuse. Yeah. A lot of women, it's very common, I hear that women will say, yeah, they had a lot of psychological abuse and mental game playing with that they experienced in childhood. Trent says, I am sorry to be alone until I realize how peaceful my life is without her. Jan says, and if you convince her that you love her for herself, then she loses respect for you because she hates herself and thus moves on. Welcome to the world of an average female brain that's blaming the world and never looking in the mirror and trying to self-improve. Men's Health Space says women use reputation destruction as the weapon of choice. Men are generally more likely to be upfront and direct. The girl power narrative only applies in the world of celebrity and money. The average girl spouting women's power and independence are normally overcompensating. I agree. Greg says, men create, women decorate. Well put. Look at the jobs they pick. Men create, women decorate. Well put. The average woman, that is. And if you don't want the average girl power woman out there, be very, very, very picky and don't let anyone through your door unless they meet those very, very basic standards of a decent human being. It's amazing how guys' standards today seem very high. Like, I want a nice person who's a very sane, fair, decent human being. I want a nice girl. That's like a really high gold standard today. Whereas back in our parents' day, that was like just the entry to go on a date. All right. I've been blabbing for 2 hours. Any more final questions, guys? And let's call it a day. And any of you guys, if you want to continue this discussion, if you've got a microphone, jump on Discord. Links in the low bar on my page. Boffin says, do you think biting your nails might have damaged your teeth? I had that problem, but then I started taking my socks off. No, I never bite my teeth. I think it's genetic, as well as basketball. The trauma in sport didn't help. I've got a lot of my mother's genetics from my mother's side, and her whole side has bad teeth. My father's side has great teeth. So I think it's a combination of genetics and playing a sport where I got elbowed a lot in the head. Feral Android, thank you for the super chat donation. I really appreciate it. I am very thankful for all the donations today, particularly since I can barely speak. I'm very appreciative that you all are still here listening. We've got about 160 concurrent viewers at the moment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, interact with the channel so the algorithm feels you clicking and commenting and whatever. Thank you for the super chat, Fatty. That's his name. I'm not making a slur. That's his name. Fatty. He says, what's the platform you use to stream human? Greetings from Portugal. The platform? I'm streaming on YouTube. Or do you mean this software? I'm using Streamlabs OBS to stream through. And you can put layers on there, like, all this stuff. And yeah, you can learn to do all that stuff. It takes a little bit of know-how, but once you get going, it's pretty straightforward. Any final questions, guys? And let's wrap it up. And for any of you, yeah, Donna guessed it. I'm drinking Fanta. Donna gets the prize. Okay. Mr. Smith says, women see men as mirrors to reflect the way they believe they are entitled to. Women just want to be made to feel special and safe. And yeah, you can game them by doing that. Like, yeah, make a woman feel special and safe, and you've got a good chance of being with her. But again, if you have to kind of put on a mask to do that, it's going to get tiring really quickly. Just the guy says, if you still believe in romantic love, still fall in love the same way you did as a teenager, then you haven't learned anything in life. Yes. There are a lot of guys and girls who still love the same way they did naively as they did in high school. It's like, did your failures teach you nothing? Fiona says, women are very catty. So true, mate. You get shouted down and ostracized. An eternal perspective is seen as an attack. An alternate perspective is seen as an attack, not an opportunity to sharpen your own viewpoint against alternate ideas. So many women, if they're honest, will say, yeah, there's a reason why so many women say, like, I can't stand, I got rid of a lot of my female friends. I prefer the company of guys. I don't have very many female friends because, and then the reasons are because of typical female cattiness and lying and backstabbing, psychological manipulation, stuff like that. Yet we're supposed to believe women are empathic and great communicators and so morally upstanding and great mothers. And yeah, really. I suppose no one's going to buy the product if you don't market it that way, but geez. Just the Guy says, human talks as if he still pretty much believes in romantic love. I find it baffling. I've never actually, like, no, not never, let's not say that. Years ago, I was more condemning of love, but I think people don't love maturely. They're still loving like they're a teenager, and they refuse to love any other way. They're very lazy in saying, like, these are my steps. Because I know, like, I can't deny how I love if I had my dog. I love my dog, and I can tell you why, and there's a way to love your dog. I can tell you how I love my car and why, and there's a way to love my car, how I love my family, my friends. So love exists. So you need to love, if you're going to love romantically with someone, you can't love like a 12-year-old. That means you have to have very, very specific standards for who you are. If you're going to love generally, you'll get the general bimbo out there. And that's, yeah, you can't love them. That kind of romantic love is BS. But I don't say that I don't believe in love. Because most guys' standards out there are such that they can go on dates and they can date and have a bimbo as a girlfriend with all the rules and the Mansfield content for a short period of time, or to game her or manage it somewhat where it's tolerable. That's what love is to most guys. And in that respect, yeah, it is BS. I don't believe in that. I believe in a more classic, mature version of a sensible, something that objectively that most of us would agree. Like when you see couples that actually do have a good relationship, and you can tell they're honest with each other, that to me is more sensible. They're open with each other. They talk about everything. They don't game each other. And it's not luck. And I've talked to some of these couples, and they've gone on bad dates. And then when they find someone they're compatible with, and they said to themselves, no more dating trash. I'm not wasting my time anymore. Only when the right person comes along, that's the only person I'm going to give time to. And over the time, a long period of time, I'm actually going to test whether or not this is a mirage, or if this is one of the 1%ers that's compatible with me. And if not, be happy on your own. Most people out there are not compatible with you. Friends or romantic, and even less so romantic. But I'm not going to say love exists. It does. There's too many things in my life that I love. Delta Dan says, when are you getting it done? The final procedure around June, July, I think. So in about 4 months. As long as I don't get any complications with infection or anything between now and then. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, my mouth is starting to get sore. And I'll talk to some of you more casually and not as... I won't be talking all the time. If any of you guys want to jump on Discord and continue this conversation with a couple of other guys, I'm pretty sure Boffin will be there, and a couple of other guys, maybe Karu and whatever. So, yeah, anyone who wants, join in. I'll make sure people are respectable, let others speak. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. But I can't speak anymore, and we've already been going for 2 hours. I only wanted to talk for about an hour, but it was a really interesting video that I did this week, especially because of the comments. It really did well. It performed like 3 times better than most of my videos for this period of time. So it really resonated with a lot of you people. So thanks a lot. Keep the comments coming. Like, subscribe, and if you've got a microphone, jump on Discord and let's continue the conversation. And yeah, I'll catch you in another video this week. Bye, guys.